How's it going, everybody? Welcome, welcome. Just get settled in here. Chris, how's it going? I know you just keep coming in at the right time, man. Good to see you. Everybody else that's watching, Kevin, how's it going? Uh, oh, okay, cool. I will definitely watch that. Thanks, Kevin, and welcome to here, buddy. Super casual, laid back today. I got a little bit of a coffee here. We're gonna be working on some character design for this stream. I haven't said what the title of the book is, but a couple streams back, what I was talking about was doing like short chapters of different stories, and that's what this one is. Except this one needs a couple character designs, and it's super simple. Nothing too fantastic. It might be a little fantastic. We'll get a little bit of pride in there. Okay, so let's get a new layer. So what I need to do is design the main character here, and there's not really too much of the story to talk about right now. Just be some fun designs. I guess I'll bring on screen here. This is so the tentative title right now is Power Pickle, and I'll I'll talk a little bit more about that as we go. But so he's going to be a villain. But the main focus of some of the projects going forward that I'll be doing with a lot of these, because I always have like ideas and stuff, but I'm trying to at least get a gig with Marvel or DC. And right now, what's lacking in my portfolio, if I could make that assumption, is I don't really have superhero work. And it's not that you need superhero work to work at those companies that I'm aware of, but I do think it's nice to be able to show certain things like the other stuff that are in superhero comics, right? Like normal everyday people. So JESOP King, I don't really have that right now. It's a lot more fun not drawing that stuff, to be honest. But with this character, clearly this isn't a humanoid at all. Hey Dennis, how's it going? But the heroes, he's a villain. The heroes that will be in the book, I can play off of like the Batman, the Superman, and I'm not trying to like remake the X-Men or try to sell some new superhero book. That's not at all. I'm just trying to have some fun, and they're little not gags really, but just little first story will be about 8 pages. Anywhere from like 6 to 12, maybe somewhere around there. Nothing crazy, but they're just like things that this guy's trying to do, and he just can't ever get his shit together. Just fun little stuff that I can put people into situations where he's kind of the guy that kind of like stirs that shit up. So, Power Pickle totally sounds like total powerhouse. Deku, how's it going? Welcome. So, as you can see with that reference that I was showing there, I already have an idea of like his body, kind of. But we need a whole costume and stuff, so I think we're gonna start this off with some silhouettes. We haven't done silhouettes in a while. That'll keep things a little fresh here. His body's actually super simple, right? It keeps in line with a lot of the stuff that I like, which is like this gigantic upper body, and then this super skinny waist. Now I'm actually going to leave it up to you guys. I have a couple ideas in my head. Hey, Keeman, how's it going? But please, jam them in the chat if you guys come up with ideas. Besides super strength, what kind of power do you think would be kind of cool for this guy to have? Like I said, I have a few ideas in my head. One of them being like super strength's fun, and he looks like, the name like Power Pickle. It's kind of goofy enough that it might work to just be like a super powerhouse kind of thing, but we'll have definitely a hero that pops up that'll have super strength. So I'm just trying to think of something else. I don't know if it's just like energy projection, if it's like a mix of super strength with some other stuff. But the reason I ask is that will play into the character, the costume design as well, right? Hey, Hero, how's it going? I appreciate that, Hero, dude. I really do. Thanks, man. And just to add to what you were saying there, I don't necessarily think it's not 100% true that like what I'm doing right now is like the way that will help me get a shot at these places. I'm just trying to look at it critically, right? That if what I send, most people they're working like, okay, let's say you want to work at Marvel, DC, those places, you're probably doing indie work, right? And if you're doing indie work, it's comic book stuff, but there's most likely like a human in there, right? And with Jessup, I mean, he looks human-ish, right? Like he's like the most human character. But the problem with him is he doesn't show any not reactions, expressions, and that's part of my fault too, in the charm of the character personally, with like his mustache and his eyebrows being the thing. Uh, but it doesn't help me in a portfolio sense, I don't think, where I could show like what an old lady looks like next to, you know, a supermodel, next to a baby boy, next to, you know, Spider-Man kind of thing. And I don't want to always just do samples of those characters. I'll just have a little bit of fun. So what I want to start doing is creating like a short little thing that I can be doing samples, like 3 to 8 pages, like I said, of just short little chapters of nothing epic. They're just fun little throwaway gag, joke, or just I just want to draw, you know, some guy robbing a bank kind of thing. But they're still within the tone of the companies I'm trying to get work at. If that makes sense, that makes sense. What do we got here? Water bending. Water bending. Let me actually just here. We'll do this. We'll get some notes going here. And just give me 1 second here. I had this page set up, but I can tell that I forgot something here. So we're going to art. Master reference, comic artboard, and I just made one, this one. So we got this, but what I need is, let's open up our Spider-Gwen samples. I'm missing the dotted blue lines. You guys, you'll have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. These guys right there. I don't even know, there we go, that one. So with that, I'm going to paste it into here. Save it for whenever we need it next. Get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah, let's put it in here too. Cool. There we go. We're all set. What do we got here? He should be able to regenerate his battered regeneration. Okay. Don't mind that. Regeneration. Might be able to get some like really gross over the top kind of looking things. What about excreting salt water that dries? Oh man, what the hell? Salt water dries peeps up. Pillhead, how's it going, buddy? Oh, he's definitely got expressions. I don't want to make it, but he doesn't have like human expressions. Meaning, like I can't show extreme fear and extreme sadness. Like I can get, in a way do it, but I think if I sent that to a company that draws like Peter Parker, there's a difference there, right? Like a human with eyes that aren't just squinty things. Like Superman, I always draw Superman with squinty eyes, but Clark Kent, I wouldn't draw that way. Hey Matador, how's it going? Like anthologies. You know what's a good example if you guys wanted to go check out sort of what I'm thinking is an anthology might be a good way of saying it. Corey Lewis is doing something with a book called Sun Bakery, where it's a lot of these little chapters of little issues put together. That mixed with Adam Warren does this amazing comic. I love it. It might not be your cup of tea, called Empowered, where it's a lot of it's the same universe. Like let's say it was just what I'm doing here, but it's small little condensed little chapters that are nothing, and then he just collects them all. Like there's no just giant epic story going through it. The thing, it's just more slice of lifey kind of stuff in a way that just deals with superheroes. Okay, so we've got a couple bodies here. We'll just do 3 for now. Actually, you know what we're gonna do? Let's do this right. Where are we at here? Rotate canvas. That sounds smart. Got all this room we're not using. And we will just rotate everything. Are you serious? Can't. Wow. Okay. Thought you could just rotate them at will. Guess we'll do it this way. Okay. Cool. What do we got here? Shape shifting. How's it going, Shadow Kid? Shape shifting. I'm gonna put some sort of energy manipulation too. One of my favorite hero or X-Men is Cyclops. Maybe something like that. Meteor Joe Worker. Benjamin, how's it going? Chris, he should get people in a headlock for maximum fluid transfer. Jesus Christ. Right on, Matt. Was a fan too, like that. Jamie, how's it going? Did you ever hear back from Marvel with your sweater? I had not. No, I haven't heard a peep, which is fine. I don't hope that doesn't sound salty about it. I'm very aware. Okay, some of you guys might not be aware of this too, and I'll share this too. This is just like the reality. Okay, I'm just gonna start putting some stuff together just to sort of see if we can get some shapes. A lot of superhero stuff. Before I finish that thought there, a lot of superhero stuff. I find it's super simple to just sort of like you're just drawing anatomy and then you're drawing lines over top of it and then you put some color to it and it's like a spandex clothing kind of thing. Which I might end up doing anyway, but this is just fun to kind of talk about. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, for those of you that are looking to get into comics, at least work with these other companies and stuff, I don't want to make it sound like it's impossible. If you've never been to a convention and you've never seen a good thing is like at DC. I remember going there in Chicago many years ago, man, like 2005, maybe even that long ago, and DC especially. Marvel was a little different, but similar. They always have like this portfolio drop off box and it's your responsibility to make copies of your portfolio. At least it was then. I'm not sure if it's the same now. When I went to New York, like what is it now? 5 years ago, yeah, about 5 or 6 years ago now. Man, it's wow. I brought some copies. They just shrunk them down to 8.5 by 11. Brought them, and if you haven't seen the bin of portfolio drop-offs before, it's very eye-opening. Here's an example. Imagine going to DC at a Comic Con to drop your portfolio off, right? And it's a bin because there's just the volume of people. You go there, and this bin can be like 3 or 4 recycling bins next to each other, or it could just be a giant box, and it's filled always filled with like 10 or more pieces of paper stapled together. Right, that is a lot per day. Okay, and this is just one little area, one convention. Now expand that to the entire world. Like you're competing with a lot. So, if you're not aware of that, and I'm not saying that to scare anybody at all, I just want you guys to be aware that if in case you're not, the very real reality of how difficult it is to get in, not just with that company, but like any big massive company that's been around, right? Because you have to remember too, and this is the scary reality if you haven't thought about it, but you're competing with the Jim Lees and the all of those cats. Right? So it happens, and I'm not trying to say all this to make it sound like, again, I'm not upset about not hearing back or anything, but I'm just aware that the volume of people that they hear back from, or that they just get, it's plus the job that they normally have to do. Their job for a lot of these editors and stuff isn't just responding to people like me, right? It's actually day-to-day operations, so it's very busy, very busy, and it's almost expected that you'll never hear back until one day maybe you will. And sometimes, and I've had very good luck. Like people have talked to me, and and said like, "Hey, we like this or that, or here's a thing. Yeah, please keep sending me artwork." Blah blah blah. But it's the way the beast goes, man. Um, is Gherkin? Yeah, I heard of Gherkin as well. Yeah, and yeah, exactly, Jamie, and the online submissions as well, man. Absolutely, loads of competition out there. So maybe I'll talk a little bit, I guess, because I'm still sort of like playing this guy, designing everything around this guy. I don't. A lot of if Jessup King has taught me anything, a lot of this stuff is don't think too much about it and just go. You'll get some people, they think that you're very creative by whatever you present to them and put out in the world, and you could have just like me with Jessup King, all like almost bare minimum uh, preparation or like idea of 100% where it's going. It's just better, in my opinion, unless you're making like a graphic novel or something that's like final, to have at least some battle plan. So with this, again, the intent is to just draw New York City. This is the bad guy, and he's not a very good bad guy at all. He's an alien that actually looks like a pickle. That's why people call him Pickle. He has no idea what it is. Power signifies strength. Now, the problem is I don't know why he would be on Earth. So, I mean, the simple solution without trying to prevent me from doing anything here is I could just say, he's trapped on Earth somehow, crash landed somewhere, and he's just trying to get money to buy resource materials so that he can leave. He doesn't actually want to take over the planet, just wants to leave. But obviously, we're gonna have like our Supermans and our Wonder Womans and our Spider-Mans and whoever's fun to draw. One thing that I love about Empowered, if you guys haven't read it, is like there's like some villains that have like a cinder block on their head. Just dumb things, but they almost remind me of like the old school comics back in the day, where literally any kind of thing, whether it's like a Ninja Turtle or anything, could be something, right? Like you could have friggin' File Cabinet Man, and you could have you know Cat Boy. It has nothing to do with a cat. Just whack stuff. This thing's way over the top. And then you can have just generic hero. Then that's actually a character that will be in here. He'll be the Superman. His name is just generic hero. Just have the fun with it, because it's the long term thing is what I'm thinking of, right? It's not I want people to just fall in love with the lore and like, oh man, look at. It's not about that. Just have fun. Put these characters in there, beat them to shit, and draw some comic book stuff. Plus, you just get better at drawing all these stuff as well. Jim Lee is doing portfolio reviews. He said if the work submitted and is publishable, he will contact you, but it is very rare. Sorry, I don't understand what you're saying there, Pillhead. I'm trying to. Jim Lee is doing portfolio reviews, and he said if the work submitted, is published, he will contact you, but it is very rare. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have published work, right? But that's not really going to do anything. I'm sure it helps, but it's that active thing, right? So I will say this, right? Every artist knows when you look at another artist if they're good or not, right? And if the thing you're submitting is comic books, like sequential art, not pinups, not what I'm doing right here, but comic pages, right? Because that's what the job is. That's what's going to get you work. It's, in my opinion, like publish means that you have experience in like the workflow, which is great. But if you can draw good comic pages, even on your own, and publish also means like on the web, right? People don't necessarily have to always have things like published in paper. And since web definitely counts, there's so many free things to be able to do online that anybody can get published. So just this is coming from me, right? And I didn't hear the Jim Lee thing that you listened to, so I could be missing pieces. But to me, if you can show that you're constantly doing comic book pages, doesn't mean you have to work with other people. But the benefit of work with other people, right, is generally writers, they're the ones fronting the costs for everything. So they'll probably pay for like publishing like in paper form and stuff. Plus everybody else on the creative team, they have their social circles that they're bringing, right? So everybody, sort of like your social circle expands, if that makes sense. So there's benefit there. But regardless, even saying all of that, definitely just keep making comics, right? That's really all you got to do, and keep sending that these are things you're working on. That's all that matters. Oh, the puns, the puns. Oh, thank you, Jamie. I do appreciate it, man. Matador means that Jim Lee will hire people who he thinks are the shit from a portfolio review. Oh, I see. I see. He meant if your work is good enough to publish, he'll contact. Okay, yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yes, I agree. That's why it's super rare. I will say in that giant stack of resumes, just to go back to what I was saying before. Yes, there are a lot of people that are still very green, right? Like you can tell the aspirations there and the drive. That's great, but like it's still fundamentals and stuff like that. And not that I don't have that or I don't need to work on that. We all need to work on that. And the other thing too is opinions are important, right? I could show all of what I'm doing right now to 20 people, and they all hate it except one person, or they all hate it, or they all love it, right? You never. It's hard to gauge a lot of that stuff. Maybe with this one, I don't want to do a cape because capes are very like. I know Magneto and Doctor Doom, they all got capes, but I don't. I just don't want to draw a cape on this guy. I don't, save that for the heroes. Uh, Oh, what do we got here? You know what? I'm gonna use my own advice here. I'm not gonna think too much about this stuff. All right, let's get in here and design something. Oops. Okay, so we'll need line art. How's it going? Is it Lizard King? How's it going? First time catching a live stream. Been real fun watching your vids the past few days. I am banging away. Oh, baby, welcome, welcome, and glad to hear it. Always a treat to hear when people are getting their own comics going. You know what I just thought of here, as I was drawing this is, here, I'm gonna just make a little note here. You guys, DBZ fans, DBZ. Is it Kid Buu? Is that the big fat one? Like doing bad things, but doesn't understand. Childish, innocent. Cool. See, I know I'm not saying that's great, but but it's definitely like, okay, now we're getting some character here. And we don't think we're gonna give him eyebrows, but I want to hint that he's got like some human-esque features. So like the one I'm just looking off to the side here, the original reference we did, right? Like, so we give him a chin, and we give him like these massive neck muscles, like something straight out of like a Joe Mad comic or something. Yeah, maybe something like that. I almost wonder, actually, maybe we should make his head a little longer. I don't want to go too long with his head because I was thinking of like panels that I would draw. It does start to like. Don't get me wrong. It's a friggin' pickle here, right? But but it can get pushed to the point where it's just like, oh man, like that's really far. All right, let's just give him like these big, massive neck muscles, right? They're almost like literally up to his chin here. That'd be kind of funny to draw. Jeff. Oh, okay, okay. Wait, sorry, or Jeff. The name is Jim. Oh, is it? Okay. I'm not that familiar with Jim Morrison. It's a musician, right? I know I'm already gonna get like fucking just axed on that. Maybe we can put like a little X here. I don't know why. Okay. Ben, job I'm working on is a mini comic intended to be 50 pages, but my story seems like it will need more than that. Is it better to stop at 50 for my first story, just do the whole thing? Okay, I'll ask you this, Ben. Is this your first thing? Is this your first comic project? Because my opinion on that one would be, if you have a track record of finishing big projects, because anything over 50 pages is a lot of work, a lot of work. So if you got it in you, go for it. If not, if you've never made a comic book before, like the entire process, it's always been my recommendation to never do a graphic novel. And anything over 50 pages, you know, that's getting very, it's, you're basically better off just making a graphic novel if you're going to start doing 50 pages, or it's a short novel, Might be another way of saying it, right? But if you don't have the experience of making a comic all the way through, I would highly discourage people to jump in with that much work. We should probably start working on some structure here before we keep doing this guy. Hey, James, how's it going? Oh, singer for the Doors. Okay, okay, got it. I never really listened to the Doors in college. I remember it's funny now that it's actually it's kind of related to like what I just asked here with you. They were playing some song and it was like people were talking about their favorite bands, and this one guy said the Doors. Then it goes around like, do you guys like the Doors and stuff? And then I was the guy, right? Like, who the hell are the Doors? And then you get that look like I just told people that I killed somebody. And then they played some music, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, okay, I've heard it before. I'm a huge fan, but it's all good. And then even by saying I wasn't a huge fan, it was like, how dare you? How dare you? Alright, so we're going to have to show a whole bunch of muscle, because that's what we do. And I always love big fudge and traps, so he's got to have the big traps. Ben saying, it is your first project. I feel like the pacing of the story wants more pages. I am to make graphic novels. Okay, so Ben, please heed my warning. You're going to do whatever you want, and I encourage you to do whatever you want. But just heed my warning here, okay? That feeling of it needs more pages is because my assumption you haven't you're not an experienced storyteller yet. That's not a bad thing. It's just everybody's going to grow at being a storyteller, especially if you're doing comics, right? But when you find yourself going like, I don't even know where this 50-page cap came in that you may have just made up. I don't know. But once you reach the end of something, whatever that is, and and if the reply is I feel like I need more pages, the more experience you come with telling stories, the better you are at going, if 50 pages is my limit, I can break down the same story into 50 pages. It won't have the same emotional impact, possibly. But there's been like an example would be commercials and movies, right? You can show a 30-second commercial that could pull on your heartstrings. Some of them even get shared around on Facebook. They might be like 1 or 2 minutes, right? That it has way more emotional connection than like a 2.5-hour movie. So it's the storytelling portion that you need to work on. So what I would recommend doing, especially because it's comics, and comics it's a whole other thing. It's not just the story; it's the art and the whole process, and having the not the balls, but like the fortitude to stick through an entire project. Personally, and I'll continually say this to every single person, you don't have to do it, but please make a mini comic. It doesn't have to be this story. You can pick a character from that comic you're doing right now, or just come up with something brand new. It's just something super simple, 8 pages. It's very easy to do, right? We could use the hero motif, right? Like I'm going to be using this exact one for the first chapter here with this one, right? Which is it's just the beginning, middle, and end, right? The beginning is a bad guy robbing the bank. The middle is a hero shows up to stop him. And at the end, the hero wins. It's very simple, and you can tell a functioning plot there, right? It's not you're not winning Oscars, you're not getting nominated for Eisners, nothing like that. But what that's going to do is you still have to write 8 pages, draw 8 pages, and then share it online. You still have to. What that does is it is the entire actual comic book making process, but condensed into like a zine or whatever you guys want to call them. I'll just call it like a mini comic, right? And the benefit of that is you can learn the entire process of making a comic and see if it's even for you before you commit to like a 50+ page book. And then the possibility is very real. I'm not saying that this will happen to you, but I've seen it to death with lots of people where they get burnt out and then the thing never even gets finished. And there's few things more heartbreaking than trying something with some serious ambition like you're doing, and then inexperience or something gets in the way. Because for me, I get stuck in my own head way too much, and I start doubting things. The longer I spend with a project, the more I doubt the entire project. And the only way and it doesn't, for me, it's never really gone away. I know, like, if I stick with something, I'll get there. So I have tricks that will work for me, but those tricks came with, like, years of experience of just drawing lots of other things in, and comic books as well, right? So anyway, if you take whatever you want from what I just said there, regardless, I wish you the best on whatever you end up doing. And I'm sure there's tons of people in here that will probably share your sentiments, or maybe they've done what you've done, or they've you know gone way past what I just said, and I'm the I'm the ugly duckling with this one. James is even doing like recommending a 4-page comic. That's even, yeah. Hell yeah, mini comics are the way to go. What I said earlier about follow through and finishing still applies. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I agree. A lot of people don't want to do a mini comic because in their head, the comic or the story they want to tell is it's always bigger than like. It's funny. Everybody, even if they're not really aware of it, wants to make a Lord of the Rings or a Dragon Ball Z or some long epic that they might be remembered by, or that'll just blow people's socks off because they're so creative and all that. In my opinion, I think you're setting yourself up for failure with that mindset, and it's inevitable. You're an artist, you're a person. You want to make something that resonates with people, but a lot of the time, I think a lot of that is when you're not really thinking as much about all the extra stuff. You're just doing the work, and you'll know the feeling. And even with that 8-page or a 4-page comic, when you walk out of there, I'm telling you right now, you won't be the same person coming out of that. You'll have a better appreciation for it. Not that you don't have one right now, but you'll just be better all around, and it'll make that 50-page or whatever you're gonna go after. It will make it better. For every mini comic you finish, let's put it this way: for every comic you finish, it will always make the next one better. And that's something I try to hit people with, because if you want to make a 150-page graphic novel, if you could hammer out like 100, don't do it, but you could. If you were to hammer out 108-page mini comics, by the time you get back to doing that big long thing, it's going to be so much better, so much better. It's funny. I approached the 50 pages as a mini comic. That shows how little like. Oh no, yeah, I hear you, man. You're right about the burnout. I do have books on Raider to get over the hump. Okay, yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry, Hera was about talking there. You guys had the black and white user images, so I combined you two, the two of you. Just trying to put some form on these things here. All right. So Captain Lanky line. Look at this. Let's turn these silhouettes off so you can see this. Just by looking at this guy, I want to make him like 10 feet tall, like JESOP, right? And everybody else is like this big. But maybe like this is like because he's a villain, so I got to remember that, right? Like there's some villain qualities I got to put in there. So maybe this is like a Batman, Superman kind of size. So he's a little bit bigger. Matter. I have a short 12-pager in my mind. Get it out of your mind. Make it. Actually, you know what? I'll run this back to you guys so you guys can, share a little bit of info with me here. So, and this goes for, I want an answer from everybody in the room that's interested in making comics, okay? If you've never made a mini comic, why not? Like, why, or why have, okay, how come you haven't made a short story, like a 4 to 12-page comic book? What's your reasons for not doing that? I'm not asking that to start fights with anybody. I'm just interested in. I just want to hear what people's thoughts are. Maybe it's just something you never considered, or it doesn't match your long-term stuff or something. Pickle's looking good. And you know you like pickles, a rat. You're currently working on a 22-page story that I might edit down some. A final fight scene isn't blocked out yet, and I might run longer than 22, but it's put up to be 3 issues. Right on. Matador. I haven't given a lot of thought to going back to working traditionally or maybe a hybrid flow, but I doubt I draw better on paper. So a little process paralyzation there. I want to kind of go not super simple with the costume, but more streamlined. I always enjoy the streamlined stuff. Maybe we can. Maybe something like that. I can see this working. Let's get some. All right, let's. I just want to do this here so I can see this a little bit more. Just gonna slap a little bit of ink down here, so get some. So I can see some shapes. I'm getting lost in here, my friends. All right, so we can have all this be like a. We get all the shredded muscle up in here. And we can go super clean with whatever color we're gonna go here. Tangent up there we don't want. And I think with this comic here, what I'd like to do is go back to shadows. Nothing too crazy, but especially for all this black area, I think it'll be maybe a little bit appropriate here. Okay, so this is all here. I want to be able to show a lot of the muscles though, right? So I don't want all of this to be. Right now, all of this is in color, right? You know what, let's do the shoulder thing. Yeah, the gun show can come out a little bit here. Okay, let me just catch up here, guys. Thanks for all the people watching, too. This is nuts. I feel like we're just getting more and more people every stream here, so thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Okay, oh, awesome. Okay, so you guys are all responding to this. Okay, Creaky Ranger Gaming, how's it going? I haven't made one because I feel like my art isn't good enough. If I could count the amount of times I hear people say, I'm not criticizing, but that is something that I always hear people. It's like it's process paralyzation that prevents people from working. It's a confidence issue, like they're not good enough and put it off down the road. I hear that a lot too. And then like indecision or like the fear of not commitment necessarily, but like saying I'm gonna do this and then see it all the way through like a discipline, I suppose would be the other one. So Creaky's a little bit in the boat of doesn't feel like the art is good enough. Lizard King did a few short comics in high school. Now that I'm in college, I've been focusing on full issue stories. Okay. Matt, I never really saw the benefit of it. Understand that too. Shadow Kid, lazy and procrastinating. Okay. Sharon, I'll just say Sharon. How's it going? Drawing skills, to be honest, I can make storyboards for 5 to 24 pages. Without basic skills, it'll be tough to do the things I see in my mind. Okay, that makes sense. Dennis, not kissing ass here, but speaking from experience, John is 100% right. Well, thank you, sir. Benjamin, how's it going, buddy? Could be a combination of not being a part they originally envisioned for themselves and maybe looking at short form storytelling as a lesser art sometimes. That I could see too. Yep, that makes a lot of sense. Ben's also saying, for me, I think it's having a hard time connecting with short stories. I want to have a character. I want to have a character to do lots of things. Okay, I can see that. Bitey, how's it going? Coming up with a story worth working on is my biggest hang up. I have characters and situations, but not a good storyline. Okay. I love it. You know what? Because like all the, I'll call them excuses because we all give ourselves excuses for why we don't do these things, right? But there's solutions for all of these, and they're actually very simple. It's awesome. Lizard King is doing a fantasy comic set in the Dungeons and Dragons world, and I've been creating for the last 10 years. Figured to see. There you go. There's that Lord of the Rings, right? That we all want to make. Sharon, my problem is I go in to make a short story for 5 pages, but it grows into a full series like. And that's the other thing too, yeah. Hey Nimrod, how's it going, my man? You know what? Actually, here. What we like to do on this channel is preach. Well, what I like to do is ramble, but that's here. Let me get that chair out of the way. So there is a book. Let me grab it over here. I've recommended it a bajillion times. I've actually been trying to read like a chapter a night from this book, The War of Art. Okay, and I'll just show you guys what it looks like. Um, the chapters are like freaking small. It's almost like this whole thing is like really 10 pages if you shrunk it down into like a novel size thing. A lot of blank pages and stuff like that. You could probably find out most of it if you just watch some YouTube videos. But this book right here, The War of Art. What I like about this is it's like a no bullshit. He calls you out, all that good stuff. And most of you that are in here right now, you guys have probably already heard some stuff. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly, just give me 1 second here, The War of Art quotes. I'm just going to do a couple of them. Hopefully, like some of them just sort of speak to you. I highly recommend. Hey, you might not have a lot of money. I understand that. I think it was 16 bucks Canadian, right? And I'm not saying that's not a lot of money to some people. That is, right? But I highly recommend check your library. I know people don't really go to libraries anymore, but I was just recently at mine and they had it. They had a copy. They didn't have all three of his books, but okay, here. I'm just going to read a couple of these, and I'll go back to your guys' comments here. So hopefully you guys some of you will resonate with this. Some of you will just say this is stupid shit, right? So if you find yourself asking yourself and your friends, am I really a writer? Am I really an artist? Chances are you are. The counterfeit innovator is widely self-confident. The real one is scared to death. So I'll just keep going here. I'm not going to add my 2 cents here. Are you paralyzed with fear? That's a good sign. Fear is good. Like self-doubt, fear is an indicator. Fear tells us what we have to do. Remember one rule of thumb. The more scared we are of a work or calling, the more sure we can be that we have to do it. I'm going to read that one again because this one is the one thing that, if I could take one thing out of this book, it's this quote right here, okay? Are you paralyzed with fear? That's a good sign. Fear is good. Like self-doubt, fear is an indicator. Fear tells us what we have to do. Remember one rule of thumb. The more scared we are of a work or calling, the more sure we can be that we have to do it. Another follow-up quote that he kind of has in that, like a little added thing, is use your fear. And I'm putting this in like art-related context, okay? Like standing up in front of a crowd. Yeah, you'll probably become a better person for doing that and getting past all your mental bullshit, but I just like to encompass this. It's small, manageable chunks that you can do in just your art career life, right? If you feel like you're too old or you're too blah blah blah, too blah blah, it's all forms of resistance. But fear, he says to use it like a compass. If you're deathly afraid of something, like the more horrified you are to do it, just keep going in the land of fear. That's basically what you want to do. Our job in this life is not to shape ourselves into some ideal we imagine we ought to be, but to find out who we really are and become it. This one's actually very important. This goes for like pretty much every comment that I got back on that question I asked you guys. The most important thing about art is to work. Nothing else matters except sitting down every day and trying. This one I like too because this is like that real talk and it's getting a little bit more like artsy fartsy with a bit. The artist committing himself to his calling has volunteered for hell, whether he knows it or not. He will be dining for the duration on a diet of isolation, rejection, self-doubt, despair, ridicule, contempt, and humiliation. Whew. Doesn't that make you just want to sit down and hammer out artwork? Gets me in all the warm places. What do we got here? Creative work is not a selfish act or a bid for attention on the part of the actor. It's a gift to the world and every being in it. Don't cheat us of your contribution. Give us what you've got. And we'll see if we got one more. This one's a longer one, and I kind of like this one too. And I'll. Oh, there's two here, and then I'll shut up with this. And we'll get back to drawing. We fear discovering that we are more than we think we are, more than our parents, children, teachers think we are. We fear that we actually possess the talent that our still small voice tells us, that we actually have the guts, the perseverance, the capacity. We fear that we truly can steer our ship, plant our flag, reach our promised land. We fear this because if it's true, then we become estranged from all we know. We pass through a membrane, we become monsters and monstrous. Fear doesn't go away. The warrior and the artist live by the same code of necessity, which dictates the battle that must be fought anew every day. And he has this whole thing where he goes into like, just as like a fun little metaphor, which is actually like every day you sit down, you have to slay a dragon, and everybody's dragon's different. So if you can imagine in your mind's eye that your dragon today is 30 minutes of sitting down and drawing your comic, or 30 minutes or 15 minutes of learning anatomy, that's your dragon. And if every day you can kill that dragon, at least go out and try to fight the dragon. Just not see it in the distance and be scared of it. And just be like, tomorrow I'll go do it. Because what's going to happen? That dragon's going to start coming into your own personal space and it's going to start pissing you off. And you're going to start feeling like, you know, I should have done something like that. And then that goes into the regret thing, right? Like 20, 50 years from now, are you regretting that you didn't go out and die in front of that dragon or try to fight it and see what's on the other side of it? That kind of stuff. And I know that's getting really metaphysical and stuff. Personally, I love the hell out of that thought. I'm drawing a fucking superhero pickle right now, right? Like, to me, I like that language. There's some fun to it. Okay, so let me just go up to what you guys are saying there, and then we'll get back to drawing a pickle superhero. Hopefully, it won't be as boring as Tolkien about his hobbits eating. I like those things. Matador has the Matador says that book makes him disgusted with himself. Oh my god. So good. Lizard King, this is how I live my life. You are never too old. I'm turning 30 next year, and I am still in college. Lucky to break into comics by the time I'm 40. My man. Sharon, thanks. I actually need to hear this. You're welcome. You're welcome. Observant. Hey, homie. How's it going, brother? How you doing? It's James. Oh, yeah. How's it going, James? So, yeah, sorry. James. Oh, you. Hey, congratulations, too, with your comics, man. They're looking real slick. So earlier today, inking small. Yeah, he was doing that. And, yeah, he's getting very good at it. He now will draw his comics on the couch or in the bathtub. That's the power of the iPad Pro. Comics in the tub. Alright, let's get back to it. Alright, so there's some fun stuff here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to... Wait, is that... Okay, cool. Let's turn all this shite off. We're gonna throw some color in here because I'm losing the design a bit. Like I can kind of see it. There's some tomfuckery going on here with the neck, but that's okay. This to help you guys, if you guys are doing character designs like this, like go through as many of these as you possibly can. Don't worry about tightening up the anatomy. It's easy to go, okay, this is the design, and then you can do a really sick pinup and fix all the wonky stuff. Alright, let's get some music going in the background. Alright, so he is green because he's a pickle. What we're going to do first, before I get into the coloring, I just want to, we can do this real quick, just close all these lines. And the coloring I'm doing here too is, I don't think I'll be doing any shadows or anything complicated. We just want color flats, right? Like, look at this foot. Ugh, that's not even a foot. It's okay. So we can figure out the boots later. His design isn't about the boots. Very much like old school hero stuff, right? Like, maybe just go like, and there's a glove, you know? And there's a boot. Alright, I'm just trying to close all these lines here. Cool. Alright. So if we press the magic wand tool, we just want the current layer. See if we get lucky. Awesome. Hit our magic button. You guys aren't going to see anything because it's going to look the same, but through the magic of digital technology. Let's pick I don't even know what green we can use. Let's just go mid-range right now. Wow. That's very green. Let me just put it over here so I can kind of see him here. Alright, so some things we can do for color. What I like to do is steal other people's designs. Because let's be honest, I'm just joking. Let me see here. Dribble, does that still work? Yeah, okay. So let me just bring it over here. This is just a website that I go to. There's a whole bunch you can go to. This one's called Dribble, Dribble. What's cool is you can pick a color. Wow, and you can put in a hex code. Wow. So check this out. We're gonna go here, and we're gonna get the. Are you kidding? Why doesn't Clip Studio have? That's a piss off. There's no hex code. Grr. Okay. Well, let's go back to that website and we'll just eyeball it. Anyway, if you're in Photoshop, you can put in a hex code, right? So we're gonna have to go like, oh Jesus. Maybe we're like around here. I don't know. Then you can choose like right here, right? Specify minimum percent of shot containing the color. Example, the shot is 30% red. So he's pretty much green, right? So we could even, I don't like going 50-50. A 60-40 works. So if he's 60% green, we'll see. Now you'll see really quickly what happens, right? Hopefully when you look at this, you can start to just see some color ideas, right? So you can sample some of this stuff. And it just shows you like weight with like color, right? So if we just, let me just bring Clip Studio open again. So if I look, his whole head's going to be green. All up in here, his chest is green, and his arms are green. So it's actually, now that I'm looking at it, it might be a 40-60 split. Like 40% of him is green, which probably, I don't want to go full like the Incredible Hulk here, right? No, there's nothing wrong with that guy. Let's go update, and we'll see what we get here. So yellow clearly works with it. Yellow and browns. Not really a fan of that. Red and white. I want it to be a little bit of a villain though too, right? So like this is interesting. This is like this bright purple and pink and green. Might be something there. It might be maybe a little too aggressive. I don't mind the white. White and yellow? White, yellow, green? White, yellow, green. White, yellow, green. See you later, Ben. Thanks for popping in, man. Oh, no. Hey, guys. I've always said this before. Promote the shit out of yourself. If you guys got stuff to share, share it. Share the hell out of it. Maybe, what is that? You know what? Let's try it. Let's just see. Sometimes this works. Sometimes this doesn't get you anything. Let's go with this. Really, this is super saturated. We might be able to play a little bit more with it. Alright, so I'm just grabbing color right now. I don't know which area we're going to have all this color in, but we can worry about that once we get the colors in there. So we're just worrying about blocking in shape. Why can't I find this? There we go. Of course it's purple, right? So we'll have that. We'll do one more. What are we going to do with this? Yellow would probably be good. Let's just have this fucking disgusting pink. Now, I don't know where this color could go, right? Like this could be like a highlight color, maybe like a little trim. We'll fix it in a second. I feel like I may have seen this kind of color scheme before. Alright, but we might be able to go like we do the boots thing. Maybe we do the superhero boots. We go here with that. Let me just try something here. Something like that. Do we do the arms? I gotta be honest. I mean, I don't hate it. It's got that level of like I'm a little uncomfortable looking at it. Okay, hold on. I gotta see something. There's like green characters in Invincible, and I feel like this is maybe I'm subconsciously ripping that off somehow. Invincible. I don't know the name of them. Big green alien. There's like a whole race of these guys. Does anybody know off the top of their head the name of... Yeah, okay, here we go. It's almost like Piccolo looking colors, right? It's going to be a second here, guys. I'm off screen here just trying to... Just want to make sure I'm not ripping stuff off. Another fun thing to do here, too, is like if you ever think that your design might be like close to... like, and I'm being honest here, right? Like the design I have isn't like... the most amazing thing you've ever seen, but there might be... You can take this image and you can post it into Google's image search and see if anything comes up. Alright, what I'm going to try doing here is let's try just switching these colors up here just to see. So we go here and then we're going to go X that. Lock them both. Okay, so this one we'll try the purple and this we'll try the pink. Which one do you guys like better? Do you guys like this one where he's basically pink with the purple trims? Or do we like the purple and the pink trim? Getting a Brainiac vibe? Okay. And for those that maybe you guys aren't that aware with like comic book coloring and stuff, generally like when you got purples and pinks and reds and blues, you can get into like the villain colors like Skeletor's, Brainiac's a great example. Even the Incredible Hulk, I know he's all green, but he's got the purple pants. But he's mostly green, so green's generally like an inviting color. People feel comfortable with that. But the less green you have, it's more like a highlight. Lizard King likes the pink trim. I will say what I do enjoy with this, where he's mostly pink, it gives it this like he shouldn't look this way kind of feel. Miguel's going with the pink. You know what? I'm gonna leave it this way. I think I like the pink, but again, with the magic and the power of digital technology, guess what we can do? Get ready, guys. This is unreal. Oops, that's not right. Oh yeah, that's right. We can duplicate it. And you guessed it. Whoops, whoops, whoops. There we go. So now we can make the call whenever we get to it. Looking like an underpaid bullfighter. Perfect. That's the feels we want, right? The worst villain ever. I'm looking over at this other one, and I know I got these circle shapes. You know what? I think we're gonna pick something. Either way, like I don't mind the costume. It's not that it's the most amazing, but again, I'm not trying to sell that. One thing we didn't do though. Now that we got the color, I just wanted to make sure we had color going on, right? Let's get some little inking going on. Nothing, you know, I'm not trying to ink this, but there's a lot of dark areas, right? And this might affect the pink, and we'll see here. So, try to do like a little. I'm trying to I'm debating, and I'm always up for feedback from you guys too. Like, you see how I'm inking this? This kind of has like a realistic sort of ink feel to it, right? But it's not as, I wouldn't call it as garish as like how I used to do things. But I figure like this sort of looks a little bit more, I don't want to say professional because it's not always true, but it has a feel that might feel a little bit more like a mainstream comic kind of style. And I really don't mind it. It's just that sometimes it takes more time. That's why I just don't do it anymore, especially when I'm coloring it. But again, with the context of the project, right? I'm trying to get a work anyway with these companies as a pencil inker, you know, like the artist on it. So it won't, somebody else will be coloring it. The reason I don't do this kind of style here with JESOP is because I know it's going color, so I don't need to spend the time to do this, right? So where's this guy's? It's right here. So you can see right away, like that pink with all the shadow in there, it's looking kind of wacky. All right, so all of these would be, you know, you get all the muscles and stuff. Let's go super simple with all this. Boom, boom, boom. just to have the idea where some of this like stuff is. I'm using Clip Studio 5. Pink trim looks nice. It could be both alternate outfits, home and away outfits. I actually like that idea. In Clip EX, when I click on the color square, foreground color, it brings up the expanded window and shows the hex code that way. When I click on the color square, it brings up... Okay, so this is the window I get when I click on it, but there's no hex code here. See what I'm saying? Like, HughesSat, like, these aren't hex codes. Unless it's in here. Let's try. Yeah, if there's a different... Maybe there's a different window you guys are seeing? This guy looks part Cobra with the... Alright, so let's duplicate this as well and bring it over here. Close enough. Alright, let's take a look with all the color back on there. Back. So you see right away, like, this is some stuff to think about. Like, the purple looks better instantly with this, but... Again, I know this is super garish rendering style here, or like shadows. But anyway, at least it's more in context. Let's get... fix this up here. Alright, so we're going to go here, we're going to go up there, up here. He's kind of got like these cartoony eyes right now because it's so zoomed out. And definitely going with the blue eyes because that always looks good on these guys. There's an option to pick which comes up when you click it, really. There's like a right click or something. Yeah, maybe I have an outdated version. I'm at version 1.6.2. I don't think I've updated in a very long time too, because I started to get pissed off. Last time I updated, all of my like shortcut settings got erased. It was actually a big pain in the ass. Anyone read Orcs and Goblins by French company? I have not. Yeah, so I'm a few versions behind. So we still haven't come up with a power with this guy. I don't know what the hell. Alright, well. I'm stuck. What if we could... Template. No, that's not what we want. Okay. Pink goes well with the detail. Or sorry, purple goes well with the details. Pink looks like he's having some severe tumors. What I'm gonna do here is we're gonna try to do like a proper drawing, and then we'll kind of go in there, like a pinup or something. What I'm trying to find out here. Sorry guys. I know there's a way to like save this template. And you could always open it up in whatever, but I'll do that another time so I won't bore you guys. Actually, you know what? Let's here. Let's swipe something I did before. I want to see if I can find it. It was a. Oh, please. I deleted a whole bunch. I bet I deleted it. This guy had like this background. It was already. Oh, 1 second, guys. Hopefully, let's see if we get lucky. It's like a city background, so I can sort of like just swipe in a background. That way, we can put him in some sort of like action pose without having to spend a whole bunch of time doing that. Well, it's not here. Hmm. Yeah, see, there's a whole bunch. Okay. Give me a second, see if we can find it. How fun is this, eh? Going through old artwork. Oh my god. You guys might get a kick out of some of this stuff. I feel like we do this from time to time. We'll go back and look at like old artwork. What the hell is this? Leonardo. Let's take a look at this. They look whack as hell. Jesus Christ. Look at this face. Ugh. That's awesome. It's a bad drawing, but some thumbnails. Cool. Okay, let's keep going. Oh yeah, you guys, check this out. Let's look at some bad old art. Yuck. Jesus. Well, here we go. We get this would be this one here. Yeah. It's like a cop babe, I guess. I don't. I forget like where half of this stuff is even from. Like who wanted this? This is 2006. This is when I used to render the shit out of everything. Hmm. Boring. Oh, here you guys might get a kick out of this. If there's nudity in here, I apologize. You've been warned. This is old sketchbook stuff. Actually, before I look at this, what was the date on this? Okay, that's not right. 2006? Yeah, probably around there. We'll flip through it. You guys might get a kick out of this stuff. So this is like what I used to just fill sketchbooks for. Just trying to figure out anatomy, man. Super hard to do this. Look at this face down here. Jesus. Look at this. This, I think I was trying to draw with my eyes closed. All of this stuff. Funny looking at this stuff. This takes me back. Obviously, it's like it's funny where you when you really look as far back as you can. The longer you do this stuff, hey, there's Steve Carell. That at first it looked like him, then it went really shitty. But like just going back, seeing like there's lots in here that I feel like I remember doing, but once you see it, you're like, man, you usually come a long way doing stuff, you know. The good old days with this stuff, eh? And just for context, for you guys too, like when I was doing this, I thought I was more than ready to be working in comics. This is 2006, okay? No chance in hell getting work looking like this. Because where my mindset was, and this is the incorrect mindset. So hopefully you guys get something out of this. Is where I was confused was I thought I could draw well. Yeah, I knew I needed like improvement, but I had the wrong attitude at all. I felt very like maybe not. I don't want to say entitled or anything like that, but just overconfident. I hadn't had sorry. I think everybody deserves and has to have some sort of life bite you in the ass so that you can have a slice of humble pie. And until you've been bit in the ass and your pride's been kicked to shit and you've gotten back up from it, I'm not saying it's like a prerequisite, but the sooner you get it, the better human being you'll be. I find to be true. And the younger you are, so depending on your life situation, right? Some people it's later in the game. Some people it's super early, or sometimes it's in the mid-range, right? But I thought I could draw really well. Like this is a comic I was working on right here. I could just look at this. This is Corden Harley it was called. And you know, like I could render, but I was hiding a lot of bad art with rendering and blah blah blah. Because a lot of people I was looking at, like my contemporaries and stuff, they weren't doing the shading and rendering. So because I could kind of sort of do it, it elevated my ego to a place where it wasn't ready. I was just putting them in with the understanding of why I'm doing it, but there was still a lot of errors in there. That I think a lot of people would be happy to be able to just draw like at this level, which is totally cool. And I'm not trying to, inflate egos anymore, but this gave me such a bad attitude that like, why haven't I worked at Marvel and stuff like that, right? But the thing I hadn't learned yet was this is great, this is fun stuff, but where are the comic pages? Comics, and that's like the humble pie that I had to go through, which was unless you're making comic book pages, it's not that all of this is not important, but it's not as important as making a comic book page if comics is what you want to do. You could definitely transition into like I've seen so many really well drawing artists, but their storytelling and their comics just suck, and they don't hold a candle to people that draw maybe cartoony style, but they've been drawing so many stories in sequential storytelling, right? That they blow a lot of artists out of the water that can draw really really well. I don't know why the hell this one's in here. Oh, never. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're into some other stuff. But yeah, so a little word of advice there. If comics is something you want to get into, I highly recommend. Highly recommend. Make as many comics as you possibly can. You saw to me how shitty that sketchbook was. You need comic pages that are just shit fest and just keep making. Matador, I like the overly rendered stuff. Sure, dude. I always get a lot of people saying that they like that stuff too. And I understand why. I just don't like drawing it. Like sometimes I like drawing it, but I'd rather just make. It doesn't matter. But anyway, so here's my old setup. This is where when I started doing my first streaming and stuff was here in Toronto. This used to be the old art table I drew. I had this little net book you can see right here, and I had some Frazetta and stuff up here painted on the wall. Some speakers, mirrors, right? Like, and that's the sweet coffee, like I said. Stacks of paper. This is where I used to do my traditional comics. And then this was my digital setup. Look at all that. I have like no comics here or whatever. But yeah, so that was the one monitor or whatever. And this is where I would digitally ink stuff like with, what's it called? Just doing it in Photoshop. But eventually, and this is where I streamed too. But eventually, once I started messing around with that, how to digitally draw comics, the DC Comics Guide to digitally drawing comics, holy shit, by Freddie Williams. That's when I really started moving this stuff around. And then, that took him so many years to even get comfortable doing that. But okay. I'm just trying to find a background here. And now I'm getting like just lost in In good old memories, eh? Look at all this stuff. Alright, and of course we come to the bottom and it's not here. So maybe I had it in a comic section. Or concepts. By this time I probably could have just drawn a background, right? Well. Alright, what we'll do then is I'll just pick a background from like another comic. Something that I've actually done. Comics. Business. Actually, yeah, we might be able to pull like this will be funny. Might be able to pull some backgrounds from an old standard comic here. Save for web. Yeah, let's go through some of this stuff. The old memories. Oh, look at all the comics. Wow, pages. Okay, had all that. Had the cover. Colored that puppy up. When was this? 2014? Really, that's it? That can't be right. 2014, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Maybe that is right. Fuck, man. Yeah, 2014. I feel like this was so long ago. Jesus, look at all this. Ugh. Not a fan. Everything's just dark. Alright, well, we'll go through another one here, see if we can find another background. My bookshelf caved. Yeah, I know. Do you find that you draw better traditionally than you do digitally, or vice versa? I feel like drawing traditionally, I can be a lot more free and loose. But once I have to start doing inking traditionally, that's when I fall to shit. Digital, the thing for me with digital is I feel like I'm still penciling, but it's ink. You know what I'm saying? Like I can get like I can move my pen cursor around as if it was a pencil, whereas with traditional inking tools, like I use a micron and stuff, and it doesn't feel the same. All these backgrounds are just. I always like this page. It's like he gets kicked out of the window, he falls down, and the skunk shows up and does skunky things. Okay. I don't mean to keep taking your guys' time with all this shit here. I'm just trying to find a flipping background that I'll find, and I still won't be able to use it. I already have a feeling that's where this is gonna go. It's like I'm going down a nostalgia trip, and like none of it matters because the thing I'll find is so this stuff here is like when I first started really applying the Freddie Williams method of drawing. I had a lot of fun doing this. It was just like a lot of exploration, and I didn't mind it. This is all with like a Intuos as well. This is before I got the Cintiq. For those wondering. See, like this background, there's so much going on. Fuck it. It's too much. It's too much. All right. So we've had a little bit of a break. Just take a look here. Which one immediately did my eye go to? Went to the purple. So I'm thinking we're gonna lean towards that, but I really do like the pinks are so different. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. So all right, let's just try to draw like a I don't know, a little cool little pin up or something like that. Liz King, I like those dark pages, John, but Sin City is my favorite. No, hey, trust me, I'm with you. I love like Hellboy. Sin City, all those I think are really great. But let's. This is okay to me. This is like my perfect art style so far. And I was just talking to a buddy about this the other day. Is issue 2 of JESOP King here. I'll show you guys the. This is the final, right? Then I'll show you the ink so you can get the difference, right? So what I like about this is you can tell there's not a lot of dark black areas, and that's something I'm feeling like I might start gravitating towards. I'm not sure, but not like big chunky things, but more like right in here. This area is like maybe about as heavy, maybe a little bit heavier, like down here, that kind of stuff. Line weights for sure, but like this kind of stuff all in there. I think I could use that. But the reason I don't do a lot of heavy shadows is because I like what this looks like with the color. The color really, I like giving the room for a colorist, myself for this, but like anybody else, to kind of play around. And I just feel like you get a lot more range out of it, right? So the inks look like this. And when you look at it this way, to me, it's kind of like, okay, there's no separation. There's no like planes to look at. Like the guys in the foreground might have a lot more shadow on them to pull them. But I know that when a colorist gets in there, you can just do that and it looks fine. So to me, again, this is like that cleanish kind of style. But like I enjoy doing this a lot more than heavy blacks everywhere and then rendering. Like rendering, it's not that it's not difficult, right? Rendering is very, I've done it so long that like I'm comfortable with it. Right, like if you wanted to like render the shit out of like right over here, right? Like let's do some, I don't know, some like Finch style rendering here. You can also like maybe go back over with white. I don't know. Let's get rid of that. But you see what I'm saying? Like it's fine. Like you can do that everywhere, and you can start getting form and all that cool stuff. I just after a while, I don't know. Whoops. Maybe it's just the time that I don't like. I'd rather just make more comic pages. If that makes sense. And I know how powerful this stuff can look. Like I get it. Right? Like this is a style of rendering, and then you could do the other one. I prefer like this kind of style where it's like the Jim Lee, I call it, kind of thing, where you're just black, and then you're just like he kind of goes like a straight line and just that kind of stuff. I like that stuff. That stuff's fun. I do this with like Bic pens all the time in my sketches and all that. But I don't know. It's like I don't know. It's hard to describe, man. Hard to describe. Matter the dark stuff that you are not a fan of would probably get you work at Marvel or DC if you did it now because it's more of a mainstream style. It could be. It could be. You know, on the same hand too as well, right? We could talk about Will, right? Will Robson. If you guys don't follow Will, I hope you guys do. Check out his channel. We used to shoot the shit for a long time. He even did work on the Standard. He's done work for Marvel now. Great Lake Avengers, Deadpool, Spider-Man. I always feel like I'm missing a couple. He did like a fill-in issue for I think it was Guardians of the Galaxy, I believe. Yeah, Star-Lord. I think it was Star-Lord, right? Now he's doing he's working with fucking Todd McFarlane now too, doing Spawn Kills Everybody. But like if you look at his style, right, like it's very much we're similar in the same workflow, right? And we're not committed, but like once we decided that we don't need to add in heavy rendering and shadows, like the work just goes so much quicker. And the thing to remember too is, and this was a hard thing for me to wrap my mind around, is that when you're in comics, most likely you're not doing everything, so you're just a cog in the machine, and that just means I'm the artist, but then the colorist is still going to come in over top. Or if I'm just a penciler, the inker is going to go over top, right? Like it's a process. So for me to make the inks look beautiful and like just on their own, amazing piece of art, to me, it's not that that's not right or wrong. I just don't think that's the right way for myself to do it because I know the next person in line is the colorist. They're like the stop. They're the ones they're where they ended. If it was just a black and white comic and it ends with me, then yeah, I would go deeper in with the shadows. But since I know a colorist is going to go on there, I saw this one picture. I don't know how old this is. You guys may have seen it. It's a Scotty Young drawing of Spider-Man, and Venom's tongue is wrapped around his neck, and it's going all the way up. If you look at the inks for that, it looks almost, and I mean this in a polite way, almost like a coloring book. The line weights are there. There's a little bit of rendering, but there's like really not a lot of shadows. It's just it's almost flat looking. The colorist made that. The colorist put the texture in like the spit coming down. And in my opinion, since the colorist had more room to, and you got to find the right colors that works with your style for sure. But the colorist, since he had so much open space to work with, he could get way more range of color. Your shadows aren't just black; they can be a dark purple, a dark, you know what I'm saying? So, and I personally, I find that look more fun. That's the only reason I'm going there. The dark rendered stuff to me can start going down the realistic route a little bit, the high drama, and I'm just not. It's just not interesting to me. The Ryan Ottley's love that stuff. Joe Mad love his stuff, but even Joe Mad stuff, to me, it looks great inked, but the penciled stuff looks way better. And the pencil stuff isn't just black and white; it's like shades of gray. You know what I'm saying? Thanks, Harry. I love you too, buddy. You know I love you, Troy. Like for my digital brushes, I don't have to tweak those at all. It seems like maybe I saw how much draw stuff. Right on, right on, right on, right on. Okay, let's draw. Should we do a silhouette? Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it old style. Right. I want to try drawing this guy a little different because I feel like if I keep drawing him in this pose here, I'm getting a lot of that. I understand the shape. It's like this big ball shape right here, and then everything kind of goes through it. But I want to see if we can get. He's a villain, so I know that pose works really well. Maybe we can kind of do like a. Just get set up here. But he's a nice villain. He's not like an evil guy. We're gonna have, I don't know. And this is kind of the trouble when you're working with a new character. You don't know. It's possible you don't know the personality of them. So like those little like, how do they look when they eat? When they lost. They didn't win the fight. Do they pout? Do they just look menacing? You know, those kinds of things. So we're just going to do a couple scribbles here till something comes out. Maybe we could do like a... You know, it might actually be kind of fun. If we had like all this smoke, maybe. This is almost looking like a cover. We could probably just sneak this in as like a full page splash. And then here we could have like a broken bank wall or something, right? And he's kind of like emerging out. There's like some cop cars or something here with some guns pointing at him. But he's got that big smiley face on him. I like that idea. Are there any Dragon Ball Z fans in here? That Boo character, I forget his name too, but I think it's Kid Boo. He's just a big fat guy. He's hungry all the time, and he just pouts when he doesn't, get to play. Kind of like that kind of feel for this guy, maybe. Maybe he's coming through here. Put a big smile on his face or whatever. Some cops. You can get some buildings. So I'm hoping right away what you guys can see, and the intent of what I'm trying to do here, right, is like as a portfolio piece, and an ongoing portfolio piece, plus I get to have some fun drawing like some superhero kind of characters, right, is that this stuff looks already, in my opinion, more in line with like, hey, I would love to draw Spider-Man for your company, because we've got motifs in here, and I realize this is very superhero, and you don't always have to do that. You don't have to draw superheroes to get a job to work at these companies, but right away I have like some buildings in the background. JESOP, on the other hand, I don't do this stuff at all. There's like none of this, and that's by choice because I don't necessarily want to draw this stuff all the time. You know what I mean? See you, Kevin. Thanks for popping in, man. Hey, John, don't know if you've seen the strip panel naked YouTube, but has come out with a beautiful magazine version of it. If you've seen strip panel naked, is that the YouTube channel? Is that the name? Strip panel naked? It's analyzing characters. I have never heard of it. Let me... Oops. Trip panel naked. Let me just I just want to paste it over here so when I'm done streaming, we can do a little checky poo. Subscribe? Sure. Let's sub. Cool. What were you asking? Anybody has come up with a beautiful magazine version of it? Oh, okay, cool. I will definitely check that out. Thank you, sir. I know there's a character named Boo. I think he's the guy in the turban with the red lips. No, not that guy. Not that guy. I forget that guy's name too. The guy that's clearly like a black person, like the racist versions of a black person. That black face. I know what you're talking about. Let's try Boo. This guy. He's a big pink dude. But this version. What is this? It's not just Majin Buu. What is his form? Is it the kid version or something? But he's just very like. He's got tremendous destructive ability like Dragon Ball normally would. But he's just like he's not. He easily angers and stuff, but he's just having fun. He's like a big kid in a. It's almost like Shazam actually in a good example. But imagine Superman as a kid who's got all that power, but just wants to play with people and have fun, that kind of thing, right? Like all he wants is like look at this, like treats and snacks, these kinds of things. I just like that play on it. I just don't know which one it's called. Like probably have some from the new video game. Good Boo, is that what they call him? Innocent Boo, Good Boo. Also known as Majin Buu. Okay, so maybe that is his name. And that's the evil one? Okay. So he gets pissed off, and what are they going to do? Kamehamehas to each other? Point blank? Love it. Cool. Anyway, is that Oob? Is that the guy's name? Is it a digital magazine? Or is it like a actual to your door? I imagine for $2.50, it's probably digital. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I love the first Dragon Ball comic. The fighting got boring to me. Oh, really? Did it? I didn't read the first Dragon Ball stuff. Dragon Ball Z, I still say to this day, the manga is way better than the show. The magazine version is called Panel X Panel. Panel Cross Panel. Thank you, James. I do appreciate it. Chris, Good Boo is after the Great Evil comes out of his stream. Okay, I gotta rewatch this stuff. It is digital? Okay, cool. Alright, let's fiddle. Let's fiddle. Alright, so we have the big ass shoulders, the big traps. But that arm is going to be hidden behind the thing. Now, I think what we should do, actually, you know what? Could we frame this with a big stack of money? It's, What I'm thinking of is I want to do the total cliche, right? Like a big just sack of money. Now, do we put that there or do we sling it over his shoulder like this? Because then we can frame the head a bit. And we could, I don't know, have his hand here, something like that. Something like that. Something like that. Something like that. I think we'll do this. I think we'll do that. So we'll just delete all this. See you later. Whoops. What is it? This one? Clear. Clear. Alright, so we can get some form shapes in here. The one thing I don't like about this, so this is the style fight that I always have. I don't know if you guys ever have this. Is like, he's very sideways right now, and I could twist his body, which I'll try to my best to do to give it some dynamics. But you see, this arm is very flat. It's like I almost want to just bend it this way just to make it more dynamic. So it feels like there's some perspective happening, if that makes sense, I don't think he's this big. I'll have to double check that anatomy, but still kind of feeling like it's there. Okay, yeah, he's got big ass lanky arms, so doesn't really have big guns. He's got long guns, It hasn't got like big, maybe something like this. I don't know. Maybe we'll just go sideways for now. Okay, so we're gonna have the chest coming here, and the abs coming in here, and they come down. They come down, come down. Plus these abs too, they can do like a really cool trick for us here, where it gives us the illusion of perspective, right? So it's like somewhere around here is gonna be like the 1 point perspective. So that's going there. Try to get like this energy line a little bit. Come this way. He's walking through. And we'll have all the smoke. Leave a little bit of room for some background stuff, some police cars, like I said, and some buildings. All in here we can just have like crunchy rocks. I'll put some rocks coming off from like this too. Feeling it, feeling it. It's a very safe drawing. What I mean by safe is this is what I call staging. If you want to go see a play, let's say, you know, everything you're sitting in the audience looking straight at it is this thing. But what definitely does help, especially when you're doing comics, is please take my word for this. Always go for clarity over style, especially in comics. If it's a pinup, this is kind of a pinup, yeah. But now that I'm having this, I'm like, this could be like the first page of the comic. To be honest with you, is don't sacrifice clarity of story for style, especially if it's in a comic book, because people are reading it for the story. The cool art is obviously there, but I find what I always got tripped up about, and this is just a weakness of myself, is when I try to accentuate style, if the cost is story clarity, people, they see right through it, and they don't even see the cool drawing anymore. They might go, oh, it's rendered nice, but I don't know what the fuck's going on, and that sucks. Alright, let me just go over here, and what I'm going to do is cut that background. Cut all this. And we will paste it here. Cool. So hopefully you guys can tell kind of what's going on. I'm just building up off the previous thumbnail. So do we show his face? His face would be good. I don't want to show the back of his, like he's looking over there, but maybe we can do like a... I don't like that. I want to show his face here. Always smiling unless he doesn't get his way. Probably be pretty fun. So bring this there. We go here, right? So some of the stuff he's got that's kind of humanoid. He's like, I like to insinuate that there's like a skull under this, even though there's not. And then again, remember, we're gonna get those big Joe Mad neck muscles in here, because it looks over the top. And of course, he never succeeds. So all this money he's got. What was the name of the captain, the hero, the superhero? Generic hero? Is that what it was? Yeah, generic hero. He'll be the Superman. He always shows up. Him and whatever Justice League we come up with, or whatever fun little superheroes we can come up with will be fun. So get some muscles in here. Alright, let's do a little racy poo. Alright, let's try to fix this hand kind of going on here. I like the idea of giving him like big hands. How would he hold that? We'll do the Patreon plug here too, guys. Get ready for Vomit Town. But on Patreon, what I'll be doing is, once this picture's done here too, if you guys are interested, I try to upload something for you guys, like a PSD. Clip Studio can export in PSD, and obviously Clip Studio. So if you guys are pledging, I think it's $3 or whatever. You guys, I'll toss this up there so you guys can get that. But I plan on this weekend making a little post for you guys of what this project kind of is. I know I talked about it a little bit tonight, so you might feel like I already told you what it's about, and that's cool too. But if you're interested, you can check that out. All right, so we're gonna have the big old pecs here. Just trying to figure out where we're going here. Maybe we can just pop that bicep like that. Get a shoulder. The lats. If you guys can't see what the hell I'm looking at, you're not alone. I'm kind of losing what the hell is going on here too. Just erase some of this stuff a little bit. Maybe we can come in like that. Cool. So we got like this big. He's got the big, like, what is this? A thorax? Is that what they call it? Whatever that dinosaur sounding thing is. We'll just call it his chest. Right here, right? And then it sinks in, and we're gonna get the big fat abs. And then everything else is pretty much, you know, pretty simple. And here he's got the big shoulders, right? So I wonder if maybe I should try this. Let me just save this up first. See if I can just move all of that. That's looking a little bit more on model. Alright, get the head kind of going up. And we'll put like a $sign here or something. Oh, wrong side. Bricks, buildings. Alright, let's draw the costume in here, right? So the costume is going like that. And the big boots. Kind of got like those Mega Man legs. The big boots down there. So this goes down to like these abs. And they go up, up, up to the collarbone. Man, this seems fun already. I don't know. I know, like, it's just a drawing, but I don't know. There's a charm here that I really enjoy. It's actually pretty fun. What happens if we kind of rotate it too, like he's really? Yeah, those legs have to get fixed. All right. Yesterday too, I should let you guys know what I did is I mapped a shortcut on my keyboard to. If you guys are working on, the reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm going to throw a perspective grid on here in a second. And actually here, I'll just show you guys. So I'm going to just put a transparency layer over everything so I can see the perspective grid a little bit easier. Make it color. And I've got a perspective, what's it called? Color guide already ready to go. So if we go here to ruler, we're going to do a perspective ruler. So you can see I've already kind of established where our 1 point perspective is kind of going to be. I just want to tilt the horizon a bit. Is that right? Let me just see something here. I'm not sure if this is going to work. No, okay. So we got to rotate it. Okay. So I have here, let me just click A, or no, go over here to object. And I want to rotate our horizon line so it bends a bit. Okay, so what I was trying to say is, let me just make sure this is right now. Okay, cool. So when you're drawing buildings and stuff, up here, is this even showing up on you guys' screen? Let me see. I don't even know if you guys get to see it. No, you don't. Okay, so I'm going to shrink this down. Up here at the top, oh my god. See it? Okay. Hopefully you guys can see it. It looks pretty bad. But right here, this is the snap to special ruler. So if you want straight lines, you have to have that on, right? But let's say we're drawing, like check this out. If I'm going this way, right, and I wanted to draw like some windows, but then I wanted like some drapery or something in there, I got to go up here, turn this off, then I can kind of draw drapery or whatever, right? But what I tried to do is now that I have a little shortcut, you can see I can press page down, it'll on and off. So what's really cool is I can, at will kind of turn this off if I wanted like some straight lines to, you know what I'm saying? So you can get a little bit more organic with a lot of this stuff just by at one click of a button being able to go back and forth on that. So you guys can do that too if you're interested in getting a little bit of flexibility with the rulers here. What does the fine line look? That's too fine. I can just go with there. All right, so we have all these different colors, right? So we'll start with red. Red will be these lines. I just like having this on here for when once we start putting anatomy and stuff in there, it's nice to have a perspective grid laid out. This kind of stuff here, it helps me see the scene better, like where to place figures and all that good stuff. Go here. I don't want a whole shitload of lines, but I'd rather have enough lines now instead of worrying about it later. So go there, we'll pick another color, we'll go blue, and these will be like our up and down lines. So you can see right away how it kind of changes the background idea I had. And we'll go green, and this will be our 1-point perspective. Why I like having this too is because I don't always like having the ruler on, right? So we can turn the ruler off. That gives us our grid, right? So I can mess around with the pressure, or sorry, the opacity, so we can kind of see it. Hey, Sage Jumpers, how's it going? Welcome. I will save that up. I think I might be able to go to like line art with this. I don't know if it's too rough. Still not sure what his powers are, so I'm going to let it sink in. I do appreciate your guys' helping me out here. We had water bending. I like regeneration. Regeneration sounds fun because then I could show him getting like manhandled a bit, but he just gets healthy again. The salt water, that kind of stuff, he looks like a pickle, but he's not a pickle. He's an alien, right? Excuse me, whatever he just calls him, a pickle. Shape-shifting, I don't want to go into there. I'd rather keep him there. Energy manipulation, I wrote. I like something like that, like maybe like eye blasts or like, generate blasts from his hand to shoot out or something like that. I don't know. Super strength, yeah, we don't need all that. Invulnerability and stuff like that. I don't know. So we'll keep playing around. This is just a simple one of him just breaking out, right? So, okay, let's try. Just give me 1 second here, guys. I'll be right back. Actually, here, let me write this on here for those of you coming a little bit later. Jesus Christ. Okay, so do a little stretch, grab some water. Lizard. Pickles are kind of rubbery. What about things bouncing off of him or taking a step further since he's long and thin? He could have stretchy powers too. That's a good idea. I'm a little hesitant, to be honest, to go full like playing on. The idea of the pickle part though is at least what I'm trying to do is that he looks like a pickle. He's not actually a pickle, right? If I can't sell that, then I understand that too. But so I guess we'll have to see. I don't know. I appreciate all these ideas because somebody's gonna get something that's just like okay. Like at least I dig it more than maybe some of the other ones. Whoops, sorry. I'm trying to duplicate this so I can put it on the other screen here. Power pickle. Let's go here. But I do like the regeneration. That seems like kind of fun. So what are you guys all working on tonight? What are you guys doing today? Do I have a tab button here? Okay, give me one. I need a tab button. I don't have a tab button set up here. So Cintiq, yeah. Clip Studio functions. Let's do this bottom one is a keystroke of tab. Tab. We'll do backwards French. Table. Cool. All right. So if I press this button, juicy. That's what we want. Let's get the proper eraser here. That's too big. Karen, how's it going? Pickle looks super agile, like an escape artist. I like that. That's a good idea too. Watching hockey and playing Team Fortress 2. Sounds like a good night. Lightning powers. Ooh. Lightning powers sound fun as well. Matador, I'm continuing my writing and studying writing techniques, my man. Grinding away. Keeman's working on some inks. Dig it. Lizard King is prepping to ink page 6 of his webcomic. I was going to post page 5 on Sunday, but I kind of want to post it now and have page 6 done for Sunday. You do what you got to do, man. Alright, so we're going to just get some shape here. Alright. Ah, shit. Of course I'm drawing on the wrong layer. So that's the the one problem, little pro tip, in case you didn't see what the hell just happened here, is when you work without the user interface, make sure you're always on the right layer before you start drawing. It's a good thing we had that little accident, got that out of the way. I just wanted to erase a couple of these things so we can put some bumps on them, some pickle bumps. If there's one thing that I've learned from following you, it's that you are doing now grades and perspective. Oh, good for you, man. I'm glad. I'm glad it helps. I always say like the Marvel artist that helped me, but that guy anyway. That gentleman. He showed me a very approachable way to understand perspective, and it was putting perspective grids down on your art, kind of like as you're drawing in a way, like what I'm doing right now. Except the way he did them made it so approachable that it got rid of my fear of them. I guess not my fear, but like my lack of understanding because I thought they were just so complicated. And it was literally just throwing a ruler down, putting a point down, and just going like, just drawing it with a pencil, and then using a magical device called a kneadable eraser that I didn't even know existed. And that kneadable eraser made the world of difference. Because now you could, you know, put lines down and still have like a transparency on them, you know? That was game changing. Maybe we'll make them look a little like, oh no, they caught me with my hand in the pickle jar. Gee, that was bad. It was real bad. Alright, I like having this little like kind of pointy chin. A little X in here. I don't know why he has this, some sort of scar, which is kind of interesting because if we're going to give him regeneration powers, he wouldn't have any scar, but let's do it. Give him little dimples. And again, I like insinuating that there's like some sort of skull going on in here. And then we need these gigantic neck muscles. Okay, let's go up here. Dennis is still low regarding drawing. Can't find any joy or inspiration. I've been there in a certain way as well. The thing that helped me, I don't know if I hope it'll help you, is I had to stop drawing for a long while and try to think of why I was drawing anyway. Like, why would I draw? And what had happened that helped or that got me into that funk, or part of it that got me into that funk, was um, the I forgot the reason. When I was a kid, I would draw for a much different reason than when I was an adult, and I had to remember kid version of me why I was doing this stuff, because that's where the magic and the fun is. There's so much like, what am I going to do with this in my career, my life, all that stuff that makes it. Once you go down that road and you start thinking about, like, I understand and I completely support figuring out how you can make money and a living off of what you do. But there's also got to be something in there that, like, there's got to be a fun. There's got to be something that you can do to remember what it was about being fun. And I had to go look at like old stuff I was doing when I was a kid, and the dumb, stupid drawings I was doing back then, you know. And then I had to go like connect with the world again. So go outside, go for walks. Helped me tremendously. I highly recommend. It might help. I don't know how far down you are with this stuff, brother, but like walks helped big time. Get out of your house for a while. Even if you go to work, it's different when you're going for a walk. You know, just getting out of the house, doing like non-art things that aren't necessarily a hobby. I wouldn't talk about a hobby because like video games can fall into that, and like video games and other things can be like a big distraction. I don't know if any of that'll help you at all. I hope you find something though, man. James, dealing with someone in Spain because my writer's shipping me advance issues too. But there's a problem. That totally sucks, man. Hero, love getting fan art for my characters. Oh yeah, dude, totally, man. I appreciate the artwork you got me too. And somebody actually just did a drawing of Peace, a character in issue 2 of JESOP King. That was a huge treat, man. When you're getting custom, when you're getting, I'll tell you guys this, and I hope everybody experiences this. When you get fan art of a character you made, that's so huge to me. Like, you could draw whoever you want, but when people start drawing your characters, like that's special. You know how hard it is to get people to draw? A lot of people to draw anyway, and when they choose to draw, like, there's something about what you did that they thought was cool, or they just want to be nice, or whatever the reason is. It doesn't matter, but there's something really really magical with that. And if you don't like coming up with your own characters and stuff and or whatever, like, that's fine. But if people sent you art or anything like that too, all of that's so cool. When you're done with Pickle, can we draw him? Yeah, everybody can draw my. Yeah, of course. You're making little sculptures out of your needle erasers because you're bored. Pickle jar. See, James, you're already there, man. You're putting the marketing for me together already. Selective regeneration, or maybe he's just scores after this kind of. That's possible too. Well, here, Dennis, do you want to talk about it? I can start asking some questions if you want, man, and maybe we can pinpoint something. Like the first question I would have for you, man, is like, hey, Justin, how's it going? First question I would have is, when did this start happening, and why are you pursuing art? Is it a hobby, or is it something you want to actually maybe one day turn it into like to a career or something? Or if you don't want to talk about it too, that's I respect it. You're an old dude. First got burned out by doing games. Okay. I went back to my roots drawing. Had a lot of fun. I did 3 stories finished. Then for the fourth, just too high expectations plus no fun. Hmm. I used the sound effects I used to make. The sound effects when I was walking was probably like onset dementia, dude. When you have no social life, and there's nobody there to walk with you, you start making sounds as if it's other people walking. Like that's fucked up. But my art brothers and sisters, y'all know what I'm talking about. So it's weirdly accepted. And now suffering a mild depression, anxiety on sick leave. We had ditch sugar, cocoa and Sardex. Well, that's great, man. That's probably There's no better advice, I don't think, besides what you're doing. There's like the exercise, let alone anything else. Like I found, God knows I need to exercise. But the walking, why that helped, I think, is because when you're exercising, it's not easier necessarily, but it's more possible to kind of like slip into not thinking about all this shit. There's a Jordan Peterson thing. I don't know if you're a fan of him or anything like that, but he was talking about like purpose, especially more so for men. Not that women don't experience this, but he was talking about like how a lot of guys, men, I should say, it's like we we don't have purpose, and we can't kind of figure that part out. And when we can't figure out our purpose, it's sort of like, so why are we even here? What, like, I'm not providing anything relevant for people, and you can start to, you're kind of like a what did he say, like a wolf or a dog, something where it's like you can't even put up with yourself. You start like eating yourself, you're eating your legs because you're stuck in that trap. It's very destructive, you know. um, I know it's not the cure for what you're going through, but maybe it's again another thing why I keep saying with the why, like what it is that you're doing, is because if you can find it to be real enough and believe it, it can kind of give you that purpose, you know. And maybe it's just being more than I want to draw for a career. You know, maybe it's to help people out. Maybe it's to improve your family tree. Maybe help a family member. It might not be possible right now, but this is something that I've thought about. And I don't mean to, you know, just derail what you're going through or whatever. But I'm trying to, for me to stay focused with this stuff and not get lost and like depressed about fuck, like how old am I and comics still aren't a thing, and you know all the shit that could come with that, is like trying to improve my family tree. Meaning like my niece, she draws right now, and I don't know if she'll draw forever, right? And that's totally cool if she doesn't. It's totally up to her as long as she's having fun. And you know, if she's insane enough to try to want to pursue an art career, then you know, God bless. But if I could, and I genuinely want to try this, is get a job with a like a publisher to see if there's even like a future in something like that, right? But I don't know what that does for her, open up her life, or if and when I have kids, if it opens up possibilities for them, or maybe I'm grandpa, you know, or two generations. Hey, your great grandpa used to do comics, or had like something that wasn't a normal office job, you know, that was kind of an interesting, different take, and somehow made it. I don't know what possibilities those open, and I don't want this to sound holier than thou or anything, you know, over the top like that, but it's definitely helped me when I don't feel like doing things. You know, like it's hard to sit down and do this stuff, but sometimes I can think of like my unborn future grandkids. Like that's so crazy. That's so out there that um, what I what I do today, what I do this year, and my whole life, maybe there's something in it that adds value. And then if the family tree doesn't work out, well, and this works for all of us artists, right? We have YouTube and stuff. Like the people I'm talking to right now, you guys. I don't know what I'm by what I'm doing right now, what I've done before. I don't know 100%. Like you guys do say it from time to time, which is crazy to me. But you never know when people are going to check out your stuff and hear what you say, and your artwork could like put a smile on somebody's face, or show somebody that something's possible if they maybe work a little bit harder, or figure out the reason why they're doing it, right? So you could be helping out all these other people that you're not even directly aware of. And the reason why I like that is because it takes all the bullshit out of my brain that keeps going like, is this the right decision? Like, should I do this, or should I go and do that? And I do think it's important to have a goal, you know, like a plan of like a direction for sure. But once I started kind of going bigger than me, a lot of this stuff sort of like whittled down to, okay, well, you know, if I can't decide on something, that's fine, but there's forces going on that require me to do action, and that's cool. Think about what you want to do, man, but you got to draw. And if art's the thing, and I'm trying to make art my thing, maybe there's something out there for that, you know. Like, so I don't know if any of that might help you out too. Play football on amateur level again. Awesome, good man. I'm glad you're getting out of, like away from the art too, because it's very helpful. On my way up overall, but still can't avoid. You know what? Sometimes you lose the joy in drawing, not just because you forgot why you drew in the first place, but people change, you know, and it's cool. You might just like watching art or looking at art, but it might just not be the thing for you anymore. And it's sad, right? It's sad, but let's be at the same time, art's not going anywhere, right? So go play the sports, go exercise, get that dream body, so we can all go, look at this guy. This guy's ripped out of his mind. That's somebody that can get stuff done, you know. And then who knows? Eventually, you might feel like you want to pick up the pencil again or something. And guess what? Pencil's gonna be there. Pencil will be there. I had this decision I was making. This like the last 4 months have been pretty rough mentally, and I was trying to think like, okay, so I've got a good job, it pays well, I'm very comfortable. I can play video games. I can do all these things. But the cost of that is my energy. My energy just goes way down, and it's very hard for me to maintain work. So I had to decide. I'm like, I don't know what to do. I can stay in the comfort. It's very warm, all that stuff, and I stayed there for a while, but I just started to like fall apart, man. It was just like I. It's like I was comfortably dying in a way, and that was just because I like it just showed me personally, just for me, and I'm not saying this is in your case at all, but like I have to have like this what I'm doing right now. Might not have to be comics necessarily, um, but like a lot of the work that I do at my day job, like I'm not satiated by that. Long term, I can't do that. I'll be miserable. Um, Doing it with this stuff as well, though, like having comics or something on the side, like these big, like look, I'm drawing them like a freaking pretty ridiculous thing, just big stupid anatomy, right? This is me, and this lets me stay mentally put together, if that makes sense. So sometimes maybe I don't know, I kind of have to try to think about comfortable and uncomfortable, and uncomfortable is definitely a way to go, but sometimes you gotta leave comfortable so that you can, or leave uncomfortable so that you can get comfortable, right? Like, so if you got to take a break from something for a long while, you got to do it. If you don't do it, you'll just end up talking to your pets as if they're your best friends, and just trying to figure out like, I'm miserable, I got nobody around me anymore, and all this kind of stuff. And sometimes you just gotta, like you're doing right now, man, exercise, play sports, all that stuff. Justin, yeah, good news. I got a 2 week break from school. Ooh, good job, man. Have fun. Enjoy that. You gotta get that dream dad bod, right? You gotta. Why not? You can do it. That'll be fun. I want one. I'm not a dad, but I want that. Lizard King, I was really into art when I was in high school, but kind of shifted into music for 7 years while I was playing in a band. I studied film. It took me until 24 to get back in art. It was totally cool to have various interests. Yeah, I'm learning that too. And fun is paramount. Make make having fun as important as trying to get a job in an art field. If you don't do that, you're on a fast track to just getting fucking burnt right out. I don't know what the hell's going on with this area. Yeah, I'll do something like that. It's a weird looking. That's maybe, I don't know. We'll see. Harold, well, I gotta go home now and do the family thing. Hey, buddy, I appreciate it, man. Have fun, eh? I look forward to more of your art posts and stuff on the Instagram. Thanks for popping in, brother. I'm actually gonna just try to finish this guy here. He's almost done. This guy's super simple, and then I'm actually gonna say goodbye to you guys, and I'm gonna go on a walk. We got done work early today, which is awesome. And I got tired. And hopping on the stream was really what saved me, because we got all this cool work done. This stuff right here has been sitting in my head for fuck, like 4 weeks. Not this pose and all that stuff, but like getting seeing if there's some legs here to getting this project here kind of started. And you know what? I'm actually having a lot of fun with this, and this is sort of playing into that. Yeah, I need to do this kind of stuff because the short story stuff. I think there's a lot of fun in that. It's not that I'm leaving JESOP like I said before, but I like having that little break. The problem with JESOP is that it's a very long ongoing thing. I've said this to death to most of you people, so you guys have probably heard this over and over again, but it's true. I'm excited to try this here. And if you're coming a little bit late, little update. What the hell's going on? Is what I would like to do is sort of, I guess somebody said an anthology, and that sounds kind of excuse me, in line with what it is. So I have like a whole shitload of comic book ideas. Godslayer, Castle Dracula, this one now, Power Pickle. I haven't really talked too much about this. Spectacular Z, which is like a Power Rangers thing. There's all these things, but I feel like I'll never get to them, and they're not necessarily all like trade paperbacks like some of you guys are working on, right? Like they're just ideas, and I don't think I'll ever get to them just because of how long it takes me to do a lot of this stuff. Like I'm a pretty quick guy with this stuff here, but you know, without like a lot of those projects, they don't have an end like a graphic novel does, right? Like it's 6 issues and then you're done. It's not like that at all. It's very much like a web comic or a serial comic. You just draw it and then you keep drawing it and drawing it and drawing it, and then once it's done, it's done. You know. So what we're gonna be doing going forward is just like little issues or chapters, and then I'm just gonna jump around. So if I feel like I want to do another, like this story here, this first one's like 8 pages for Power Pickle here, and then if I want to do another one after that, go ahead. If not, then I think once I get these 8 pages out for this, I'll be definitely jumping back to JESOP to wrap up issue 2, and then maybe start Castle Dracula up, like the first little bit for that. So I'm excited to see where this kind of goes. Plus, it just keeps it fresh for me. It's almost like a brand new project all the time. You know, I don't have to get like locked into. It's 2 months of this, and then when I'm done that, it's another 2 months of the same thing. Dennis, I'm not sure if I ever had fun drawing. To be honest, it's more like an obsession. Hmm. What kind of obsession do you mean? Like, why is it an obsession? Is it an obsession because you want success from it, or people tell you that you're really good at it, or is it like a, you know, when you say obsession, what exactly does that mean? Because I think we're able to find some root to your to where this is all kind of going. Liz King, I'm right in the same boat, John. I have my fantasy comic I work on right now, but then I have a noir detective story minded sci-fi. I'll tell you this, okay? I would 100% go full into these ideas that I have as actual proper comics if this sort of thing was my full time job. But since I have a job, I can't commit all this stuff into there. It's like imagine doing a 12 issue comic after work, and then once that's probably going to take you a year to year and a half, maybe 2 years for some of you, and then when you're done that, you do it all over again. It's like those stories. I don't want these to end. I don't have ends with them. I just like the characters and have fun with them. The problem though is like they never end, and you don't have a lot of time to make them. So it's like I don't know. The solution I'm attempting anyway is what I just said, is jumping around. So it might take longer for like a story to conclude or something, which is totally cool. Hopefully, because there's always things that I'll be doing that are kind of in the same vein, but there's still progress being made. Yada yada yada. Dennis, I feel the need to create and draw, not for other people or jobs or success. Hey, Papa, you want to come on up here? Come on up, Jojo. Good boy. So you feel the obsession to draw more for yourself, not for anybody else, just to create stuff. So maybe that's a cause in what's going on with what you're doing, is you don't have that outlet anymore. You know, so you don't find the joy in drawing and all that. I get that. Uh, Exercise. I mean, it's good. We all need exercise. Period. I'll never take that away. That includes football with buddies and stuff, right? Um, but yeah, if you don't have that creative outlet to just create, you know, period for things, I imagine that's a big blocker. Is it possible for you to try doing something like really small stuff, like trying the mini comic stuffs out, just to see if there's, just by acting with those things, like you might be able to try to find something that comes together? Is that possible? Hey, Key Guy, how's it going? Haven't seen you in a while, buddy. Just jumping real quick. Saw the live stream for Power Pickle. Got that Marvel, sorry, alteration name going on. Oh, the PP, yeah, Pickle Rick. Too fun sounding. Glad you have. Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Appreciate the kind words. I just realized I also forgot to put this guy's clothes on, so we should probably put those on. Matter but the flip side, if you don't do it for your job success, then when you're stuck doing something you really hate and you only do art when you get a chance. Yeah. He did a mini comic that shit was bad. Oh wow, okay. Hmm. Maybe. Sorry, not in the moment. Sadly, I feel physically sick when I sit down to draw. Do you feel? Fuck. Okay, that's like some next level stuff there. Do you feel sick like if you just sat down to draw? Is it only at home? Can you go out? Like I hate saying coffee shops because not everybody's going to coffee shops. But like, do coffee shops help? Like if you were to go there to draw or something, is that possible? What the hell? Okay, so this is a shoulder here. It's going this way. Wait, what? Okay, hold on. Sorry, buddy. I'll get to you in a second. I'm just like I don't understand. So it goes here, comes up, and it cuts around there. Comes here, cuts around here. So it cuts around here. Goes up to the shoulder. Then it's all. Okay, I see what I did wrong here. Oh, you meant badass. Oh, so yeah, I thought. Okay, wow, I was like, oh man, I thought he said that it was bad. That's I'm like, damn, that's bad. Um, Also, I'm not posting the usual Kansas City Vacation Lifetime. Currently in Tel Aviv. Ooh, enjoy that, my man. Enjoy it. Have you tried radically changing your style? Like if you do inks, maybe oil painting for a while. Yeah, that's a good idea too. Keeman, this pickle character reminds me of Captain Squash from Bobby's World. Ooh, I haven't seen those characters. At least I don't think so. Chris, I liked your Tyrus Kane comic. I remember thinking that there could have been more tension in the bad guy punched him in the face. Dennis, hey, don't worry, I'll be back one day. I think. Hmm. See those depressive feelings and stuff. I used to when I used to hear that, I used to think maybe not weakness, like people have weakness, but I used to think like it's an easy fix. A lot of it just sounds like indecisive inaction, and we could come up with a battle plan for you, and all you got to do is sort of like do those things, and you just sort of forgot why you were doing stuff in the first place, right? And then I'm not saying, and I feel like just saying this makes you sound like an asshole, but I'm not trying to compare whatever the hell I went through to what you're going through. But once I started getting on the verge of those feelings, it opened my eyes totally to like, there's really nothing anybody could say, right? Like I could tell you this and mean it, right? Like, you know, what you're gonna do, and when you get back, we're all waiting. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be exciting. You're worth it. You can do all the good stuff. Like all that, and it's probably great to hear. Um, but the actual fix to it, it's almost like I don't know. It changes all the time, like how you get out of it, and sometimes it's just like you push it away long enough so you can actually do things, but it creeps back. Again, the only thing I could recommend, and it doesn't, I don't think it does anything to help you out, but is literally like trying to go back to when you were a kid. Because when we were kids, unless you had like a pretty messed up childhood or something, but when we were kids, A lot of this stuff we weren't even worried about, right? It was just like, I can't wait to get home to draw, or I can't wait to get home to play Mega Man 2. You know, like stuff like that. It's just until you get to an adult when a lot of these things, usually for most people, they start creeping up, right? And that's when the bullshit starts happening. So, like, if there's a way, if there's a way to go back in time, you know, and try to figure out what the shit made you happy to do this, and sometimes maybe it was just for yourself or showing it to your friends and just getting praise all the time, is I'm the friend that can draw and I'm awesome, you know, like building your ego and self-esteem. Maybe it is that, I don't know, but I find like if you can maybe, or at least it helped me, was doing a little bit of like history soul searching, that I could remember, is like, I see, okay, that's, those were the reasons why I was drawing, you know. It wasn't all the adult reasons that sneak up, and like, well, if I keep drawing and I want drawing to replace my day job, like, what is that life like? That's super scary. I like getting those safe paychecks all the time, and all that stuff, right? You know what I mean? The Arnold line, yeah. All right, the last thing this guy's missing here is his sack of money on his back. Actually, what I might do is I might just combine the two. Makes sense. Yeah, get rid of this. Spider time, yeah, that's true too. Do you feel like I felt this way, that it's like there's a pressure to decide. Like if you don't make the decision to do something, you're just wasting time. One of the things I had, and I still go through this, is like I always feel like if I'm having fun, too much fun or whatever, or too much downtime, or too much recreational time, like I'm wasting my life. It's a shitty feeling. Uh, there's no truth to it at all, but I'm just wondering if you feel like that at all. Lizard King. I have been feeling that way recently since I'm working on this comic. If I spend more than 30 minutes a day playing a video game or too much time in class doing other parts, I feel guilty. Yeah, that's it. Do you guys watch Doug Tnaple? You guys turned me on to the fact that he's been updating his YouTube channel, which I wasn't even aware of. Uh, but the reason I wanted to bring that up is he had this thing on there that he was talking about like shit, what's it called? Um, Goal setting and stuff. You guys might want to check that out, especially you, Dennis. You might find something there that might help you out. I think let's just say with art, I know you're saying it actually makes you physically ill, so that's why I'm a little hesitant to say like to suggest this. But you know, what the hell, I'll do it anyway. There might be something on there or in there for you, where it could be like being physically ill to draw. That could be a real thing, but it might just be like getting back on the horse and just doing like 5 minutes a day of just like noodling in your sketchbook, and like over time that might help something. I'm not, I don't want to tell you or say that's the thing 100% that'll fix anything. I don't think anything's broken, right? You just need a little bit of time. Doug Tenaple. He's like the artist on what's it called there? Uh, oh, lots of books actually, but most people know him from Earthworm Jim. Just want to go in here and ink already. Get all this cool stuff. Okay, well, I hope you guys have a great night or day wherever you guys are. Hope you guys had some fun. So we got this going. We'll be working on this probably all weekend. I got really nothing else to do. And this is the sort of the design. I appreciate all you guys' feedback and support on like where we can kind of go with this. Let me just bring this up too if I can find it. This was like the initial drawing here, right? He looks way more mean here, but we're softening him up. We're starting to figure out some character stuff, and yeah, should be fun. Anyway, thank you guys so much. I do appreciate all your time and your support, your questions, your comments. I wish you guys all the best. If you guys are working on stuff, wish you guys the best on that. And if you're feeling under the weather, I hope things pick up for you, and don't dread on it too much. Life's too short to worry about the details about everything. Just there's definitely time that you should just stop doing things and just you know slow shit down. Pet your cats and dogs and just look at them and look at how the fur on them kind of like goes in their body. Like how does that animal even like it's just amazing. Go outside, look at trees, watch birds in a park or something for like 20 minutes. Just slow time down. Get rid of your like digital devices. Don't worry about drawing or nothing. Just that's why I'm a big believer in the walks and stuff. You can take your time, listen to the sounds, just appreciate stuff. Just start getting into different senses to get out of your head because it's so hard. It's so easy to fall into the competition, cutthroat art lifestyle that feeling of you always got to be producing. Uh, it can beat you down. So anyway, I wish you guys all the best, and I will talk to you guys. I'll probably see you guys in the weekend. Actually, I'll definitely be streaming tomorrow, maybe around this time. I think around this time sounds about right, and then Sunday possibly, but we'll see. Love you guys. Talk to you guys soon. Keep reading comics. Keep making comics, and I will talk to you then. Bye bye.